Hey Warriors, so I wanted to come today and talk about how I ended up in the hospital at the beginning of the month. And it's kind of like it's not a super duper long story, but I'm gonna give my commentary and my swag on it, so it might turn into something that's a little long, but I promise, just roll with me. Okay, so anyway, I ended up in the hospital at the beginning of the month, and it was not MG related, which is a first for me. So actually at the end of June, I decided I want to start transitioning into pescatarianism. So pescatarianism, I want to become pescatarian. All right. So that means I was primarily eating fish. And so I was sitting down on July 1st, first day as a pescatarian, sitting down, eating some salmon, and all of a sudden I feel a sharp pain in my throat. And I'm like choking, I'm trying to like cough it up. I'm like, like it was just like, when I tell you guys it was such excruciating sharp pain, I literally felt like I was being stabbed every time I swallowed. So I'm like trying to cough, I'm like sticking my fingers down my throat, just trying to get whatever it is out. And it's nothing coming out, but as I'm coughing up blood, which was very, very scary. So now I'm just like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Clearly, so first thing I do is I text one of my best friends, and she was like, because she's a nurse, and she was like, you should probably go to the hospital. I did not want to go to the hospital because COVID, like, oh my gosh, COVID. And also I didn't want to go to the hospital because I didn't know how long it was going to take. And later that evening, I was scheduled to do a Cookies and Christ with Kelly of Print Pray Slay. Not sure if you guys are familiar with what we do over there, but if not, I will link it in the description block and you guys can check it on out. But anyway, so at this time it's like 3 o'clock and I'm scheduled to do Print Pray Slay at 7:30. Anyway, so I go to urgent care, which is probably about 7 minutes from my house. So I go to urgent care, and it wasn't like a long wait in the waiting room. I'm like, good, they can get me in and out. So they take me in the back. They do my x-rays. The doctor comes and checks. He's like looking. He's like, yeah, I don't see anything. Take some. He gave me like a numbing lozenge type thing, like a Maalox or something like that. And then was like, oh, get some cough drops and it'll be fine. They sent me home. But he did say if it doesn't get better, go to the emergency room. So at that point, well, on the way, I text Kelly and I was like, hey, I'm on my way to the ER. I don't really know if I'm going to be, functioning for our thing later, but I'll keep you posted. So when I left there, I called her and I told her what happened. She's like, eat some bread. That's what people do. People eat bread with fried fish. My salmon was grilled, baked. I don't know. It wasn't fried. And I typically don't eat bread with my fish. I don't know. Maybe I should. But anyway, so then I went to the Safeway, bought some bread, and then I ate it, and it wasn't getting better. So then across the street from the Safeway is like my city's local emergency room. Not connected to a hospital, but it's just a local ER type situation. So I went in there, again, gave them the spiel. They decided, all right, we're not even going to do an x-ray because there's no point. If it's a fishbone, it's probably so thin we wouldn't even be able to see it. Let's try to go in with a scope. So I was in there for like 4+ hours. Finally, maybe like 3 hours or so. I don't know. I was in there for a long time, I'll tell you that. Probably left there like around 10 p.m. Yeah. And they tried to go with the scope. The doctor at first like, oh, I can see something. And the people that were with him were like, oh, you didn't see anything. That wasn't anything. And like, so they didn't sedate me. They just, tried to pry me open or my throat open and stick the little cam down there. But it's hard. Like, I don't know. It's just really difficult. Anyway, they pretty much decided, all right, this is beyond us. And so they transferred me to the hospital, and they basically called ahead, told the hospital I was coming, and they told me, all right, they're probably gonna have to admit you to the hospital. You're gonna have to have a COVID test. You're gonna have to go through all this stuff. They're probably gonna have to do a procedure. At this point, I am so frustrated. I'm so defeated. Because boom, the hospital that they were sending me to was the hospital that my friend told me to go to in the first place. So maybe if I would have listened to them her in the first place, or went with my gut instead of trying to duck in COVID, I wouldn't be here now going at 11 o'clock at night. Very, very stressful because, you know, I felt like my probability of catching COVID was higher at the hospital because that's where people are going when they're having symptoms and when they're feeling bad. And, you know, it was very tense for me. I felt like triggers of like PTSD as far as like remembering like my diagnosis, about how I kept going from doctor to doctor and nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. Like these people were adamant that there was nothing in my throat, but I could feel this pain. Like it was crazy. One thing that the ER did do was they gave me like what's that drug that that people be overdose, fentanyl. So they did give me some pain medicine, which did help. And I came home, I packed the bag because at this point they said they were keeping me overnight because they couldn't get in touch with the ENT until the next day. So I knew I was going to stay overnight. Get to the hospital, they admitted me, and they basically like, all right, no, nothing to eat, nothing to drink. And you really can't sleep in the hospital because people are coming every 20 to 30 minutes and asking you questions, and then the blood pressure machine is going off every hour, squeezing your arm, and the beeping, and it was just a lot. I was so tired and just so over it. Finally, the next morning comes, the ENT comes in and he does whatever he does with his little scope. This time he goes in through my nose. Woo! And I didn't have any like numbing or anything. He just went straight in. And again, the ENT says, I don't see anything. Maybe you just feel pain from he said, what he did say was that we saw something scrape. He saw like scratching or scraping in my throat, which means that it was something there, but he just can't see it. So he sent me home again with no more pain medicine or anything. And he said, if it doesn't get better by Monday. So this happened on a Wednesday. I was in the hospital on Thursday. They sent me home Thursday afternoon. So he said, doesn't get better by Monday, come back to me. We are going to just have to cut you open and operate or do a procedure. So I go home, still feeling horrible. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was still feeling really, really bad. Like it hurt to swallow water, it hurt to swallow spit, it hurt to talk. I had like little cough drop things for like sore throats that kind of ease my pain, and I was taking like copious amounts of pain medicines up to the threshold, just trying to combine what I could without doing damage to like my stomach, because you know if you take too much pain medicine you can get an ulcer. It's just a lot, but nothing was really offering me any relief. And so finally I went downstairs and I don't know what I was doing. I just sit on the couch and I felt like a little tickle, and so I began to like cough and I felt something. And so I just kind of coughed it up. And there was the daggone fishbone, you guys. I'm going to insert a picture. That fishbone was stuck in my throat. And all these doctors, all these medical professionals could not see the bone. Now, granted, the bone is small, it's thin. It might look like a slither of spit depending on how the scope look. But it was more frustrating that they kept telling me it was nothing there. And I'm trying to tell them that it is something there. And they saying that, oh, it's just scarring, scratching or whatever. And then they also didn't offer me anything for pain. So it was super duper frustrating. Anywho, so it came up on Saturday and I'm thinking, okay, finally it came up. It should start feeling better. Sunday, it just felt like it was getting worse after the bone came up. It was even more sore and tender. So I called back to the ENT's office on Monday. And they were like, oh, the closest we could get to see you is on Wednesday. I was like, well, tell him I'll see him back at the hospital because that's where I'll be and he's on call. Because I can't wait till Wednesday. Like, this is just unreasonable. At this point, I'm pretty sure I'm dehydrated because I can't eat anything. I can't really drink anything. Like, this is just a lot. So they managed to squeeze me in that same day, thankfully. And what else happened? So when I told him he coughed it up, he was like, Dad, I've been doing this for 25 years and nobody's ever coughed up a bone. So you are basically marvel. And I was like, thank you. No, seriously, I wasn't like, thank you, but I guess it was a good moment in that, oh, I didn't have to be cut open to get this thing, and my body kind of, pushed it out on its own. But bad that I was still feeling this issue, like I was still having pain. So then they finally prescribed me pain medicines or different types of medication, and I got on them, and I took those for 2 weeks, and I'm finally on coming off of them. I took them for 2 weeks, and I had my follow-up, and then I'm on the tail end, so I have another few days of coming down off of the lower dosage, and then I can stop taking the medicine altogether. But it was just a really, really stressful time, y'all. So again, just going back to like how I felt about when I was diagnosed with MG originally, and going from doctor to doctor and being so frustrated because it's like I don't know if they don't take my pain seriously, or I think it's difficult to articulate into words what exactly you're feeling, how to take what you're feeling and put it into the correct words so that the doctors comprehend what you're going through. And also tired of having to like constantly tell doctor to doctor to doctor what's going on, and them just not get it and receive it. And I recently, so like last month, I had the opportunity to do a guest blog with a journey through fog, and I'll list or link that guest post in the description block as well. But I talked about how it's frustrating being a woman of color with a chronic illness, and we live in a society where there are so many racial tensions. So there are facts that prove that Black women's pain levels aren't taken seriously. And I feel like I kind of experienced that. At the time I wrote the article, I never really thought about it. But here I am in a situation where I'm telling these people that I'm in pain, and they're telling me, oh, it'll go away. Oh, take a cough drop. A cough drop? I feel like my throat is being slit open, and you're telling me to take a cough drop. So it was just like a myriad of different emotions, and just so freaking frustrating. Like, I don't even know how to say it. And I don't want to say that, oh, my doctors were racist against me, but I don't think that I was taken seriously in this situation. And I know it's a fluke situation, and it's crazy because who the heck ends up in the ER off of a fishbone? Me. But it's just an example of how something so minute can turn into something so big, like, and it could have been avoided. I felt like if that bone should have been found on Wednesday or Thursday. There's no reason why I should have came up on Saturday while I'm at home. Thankfully it did, but there's no reason. There's no reason why I then should have, if it didn't come up, have to have a surgery or operation for the bone to come up. So I don't know. I feel like we have so much work to do in the healthcare industry, especially here in the United States. And yeah, that's my story. That's all I got for y'all. This wasn't supposed to be turned into like some political or systematic healthcare rant. I just wanted to tell y'all that's what happened to me. So please, you guys, chew your food very succinctly, check for bones. But most importantly, if you are experiencing any type of symptoms, I want to encourage you to continue to advocate for yourself. Like, don't allow the doctors to kind of mute you or diminish what you're feeling or experiencing. Like, advocate. And if they don't give you what you want, go to the next doctor. That's me. I went to urgent care. They didn't help me, going to ER. ER didn't help me, I'm going to the hospital. I'm going to wherever until I can get some type of results, because this is just ridiculous. So I'm off my soapbox. I'm feeling better now. A few people did know. So if you were on my Instagram or on Twitter, you sent me prayers. Thank you so much. I'm feeling so much better, and I'm excited to get back to being consistent with you guys, because I fell off for the whole month of July, because that was just very traumatic and healing. Like, I couldn't even talk, let alone do a YouTube video, or let alone feel creative for y'all. But I'm back. My juices are flowing. So I'll see y'all later.